I guess that's a
The rules?
squash. No, but it's the same.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like the same arena you play it in, right? And squash just has a smaller, faster
It's a
ball.
little smaller. It's a little bit harder.
Ouch.
And again, if you get hit with one of those, man, it's going to leave a welt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dangerous game.
Yeah, it could be.
All right. Bill Burke says Arthur Treacher's. Yes, next to Burger
Yes.
King down
Yep.
there.
Uh-huh.
Only for a short time.
Yeah. I
Not
love
there
that
for a long
place.
time.
Yeah.
Because we had those in Oklahoma. So when we came up here, it's like, yeah,
You can get a
got
good-
one of those.
Good fish sandwich.
Yes.
All right. Head Shop played over at the Manchester Racquetball Club.
Did they really?
I DJ'd there one
cool.
time. That's a place where a young John Manning played My Ding-a-Ling by Chuck Berry.
Aha.
We'll leave it at that. He did. A lot of fun.
Pushing the boundaries.
Chuck Berry? Sure. All right. Wow. These 2 hours, yesterday and today, have gone by fast.
Yep.
Yeah, really good. It was
Fast and fun.
All right.
furious.
Well, that's going to do it. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
And tomorrow we will have Bill Cini's trivia. See how that goes.
Peter, you're going to try to defend your title?
I have to.
I'm going to try and win my first.
I'm rooting for you, Steve, too.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you on the board this week.
I was on the board last week. I actually got 3 points.
Yeah, there you go.
This is the most I ever had.
It's all right. You never know what you're going to get. Bill Cini's trivia. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll keep it right here. You got Matt Connerton Unleashed coming up at 4 p.m., followed by Through the Stage Door with none other than Robbio himself. And of course, at 7 o'clock, you will have Retro Spectrum Radio with Pauly C. That's all tonight, right here at WMNH. You can check it out on the web at WMNHradio.org. That's going to do it for us on this Tuesday. Have a great day, Manchester.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi, everybody. As long as you have your health, be thankful for it and keep away from all these drugs and stuff that the kids are pushing today.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry. Located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria.
For delivery, call 603-782-8450.
Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town.
1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Best cocktails around.
Come in as friends and leave as family.
You are listening to WMNH-LP, Manchester's radio, broadcasting at 95.3 megahertz frequency modulation from the top of 1000 Elm Street. Our studios are located at 1045 Elm Street and licensed to Manchester Public Television Service in Manchester, New Hampshire, USA. Contact us by email at WMNH953@gmail.com or through our website at WMNHradio.org.
struggle. I'm feeling depressed. Turn my back to the world. Just let me regress. Thrown out like someone wanted pages from a book they call life. Thrown out with no concern, never knowing what the story might have told. So I need to find the answer of the ending to this book. Have I lived my life without those regrets? And would it make a difference in the story of my life? Or would it even matter if some pages were lost? These days keep going by, years keep going by, all too fast. It's time I have to realize my time is running out. Time is running out on my dreams. A bit, but I know for certain that all my dreams have been lived.
It is that time again. Matt Connerton Unleashed. And we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. And hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Tuesday, April 25, 2023. So nice to have you all with me on this Tuesday afternoon. We've got a fun and exciting show for you. I've got a lot of, I'm going to try to, this is one of those days where I'm alone here again today. I'm going to try to get through as many fascinating news stories as possible, things that I think are interesting. But, and perhaps you will too, in an ideal situation. By the way, that track that we opened with, that is called Ain't Life a Struggle. That is by the great Peter Pappas, who will be our musical guest on Thursday. He will be here in studio with us. He's going to bring in his electric guitar and he's going to play live, and it's going to be great. Really looking forward to meeting him. It's funny. I was just looking at a picture of him online. He reminds me a little bit of Paul Simon, just in how he looks, although he's probably taller, because most people are taller than Paul Simon. But no, he's got a great voice, and I really look forward to meeting him, talking with him, and getting to hear him live. So that will be on Thursday. We have a musical guest tomorrow as well, Skyping in the second hour, Becoming Human. They're going to be joining us, and they've got some great stuff. I'm going to actually play one of their songs at the top of the hour today to kind of give you a little sneak preview of that. Actually, I'm going to give you a 2 for Tuesday at the top of the hour. Well, that's what they say in radio, 2 for Tuesday. I'm not actually going to play 2 Becoming Human songs. I'm only going to play one, but I usually only play one song at the break as we transition from the first hour to the second hour, but I'm going to play 2 songs today. I'm going to play something from Becoming Human, and I'm also going to play the track Angel, the great single from the band Infinity Vein, because I happen to be wearing, for those of you watching online, you can see, I happen to be wearing the Infinity Vein shirt, this wonderful shirt they had made for us. They're another Texas band, but we talked to them via Skype a couple times, and they made this wonderful shirt where it's got the band's logo on the front, and on the back, it's a custom shirt. On the back, it says WMNH 95.3 FM. They were so grateful to be interviewed and have their music played on our program on the station here. So they sent us a couple shirts, one for myself and one for Jenny. So I'm going to play their single at the top of the hour as well. So yeah, that's what I meant when I said 2 for Tuesday. You're going to get 2 songs. Usually only get one song, but they're both 3 minutes and change. So they're shorter songs. So there you go. 603-250-6007 is the number to call today. 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. I'm on social media at Matt Connerton. You can email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. You can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat, but the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is to give us a call at 603-250-6007. And my friends, I do have one other very exciting programming note for you. Although this particular programming note does not actually involve me or this program or WMNH. It is about my dad. My father will be officially a guest tonight on a Patriot Confederation. Now, if you're a longtime listener of the show, you might be familiar with Billy Painter. He also goes by Bad Billy, but I like to use his real name, Billy Painter, because I just think it's a cool name. I think it's an even cooler name. I think Billy Painter sounds even cooler than Bad Billy. That's just what I think. I don't know if I've ever told him that directly, but I think you should just use Billy Painter. It sounds like he sounds like a musician, right? You know, hey, did you get the new Billy Painter CD? You know what I mean? So anyway, he's not a musician, of course. He's a talk show host, but it's his show that he does along with John Grosvenor on, is it WSMN in Nashua, New Hampshire? But you can actually go to the YouTube channel. If you go to the Patriot Confederation YouTube channel, you can stream the show live. So that will be tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern with Billy and John. Again, John Grosvenor, who does a show in Nashua. They're going to have my dad on as a guest. I assume my dad's calling in. I assume he's not Skyping in or Zooming in, because I don't think he's set up for that. But so that'll be interesting. I don't know if I'll get a chance to hear it live or not. but it'll be on YouTube, so I can catch it after the fact if I don't get to hear it live. But I know my dad listens to this show, so Dad, good luck tonight with that. I'm sure it'll be fun. I think I was trying to remember on my way here if I had been on that show or not. I definitely did something with Billy and John via Zoom, but I don't think it was for Patriot Confederation. I think it was for Billy's show, Outlaw Radio. But I'm not 100% positive on that. It was a while ago. It was several months ago. But I had a good time doing that. So anyway, so yes, my dad, mi padre, mi familia will be on the air tonight in Nashua, New Hampshire, and of course online. Again, go to the Patriot Confederation YouTube channel. Let's go ahead and say hello to everybody in our Facebook live chat here, and then we shall get into some stuff. Jenny, of course, joins us and says, Shalom, peeps. Also, JFed from the great state of Vermont says, good afternoon, everyone. JFed is asking, does he sing Paul Simon? Referring to our guest, our Thursday guest, Peter Pappas. If you're just joining us, he's asking that because I made a comment that in one of his pictures, he kind of looks like Paul Simon. I don't know if he does any Paul Simon songs. He does do covers and originals, but I don't know if he does any Paul Simon. Let's see. Jenny shared in the Facebook live chat the link to the Infinity Vein Facebook page, and also the Peter Pappas Facebook page, and the Becoming Human Facebook page. So there you go. Check all of those wonderful artists out, please. You'll be glad that you did. Let me give the studio line one more time: 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. Before we get into any political news and so forth, because the president made it official today. He announced his re-election and so forth, and they made a nice video. And he didn't do an official campaign rally, but he went and spoke at a union event, and it was kind of like an unofficial campaign rally speech, but to coincide with the video. But it is now official. So we'll talk about that a little bit in a moment. We probably won't spend a lot of time on it because, frankly, to me, it's kind of a yawn because we all knew he was running. He just hadn't made the official announcement. So now it's just official. But it's not. JFed says in the chat room, well, when he is on Thursday, I'll just call him Al. That's a reference to the, referring to Peter Pappas, the Paul Simon song, You Can Call Me Al. Chevy Chase was in the video with him for that. Remember that? Let's see. But so, we'll get into that, and we've got a ton of other stuff. But I do want to acknowledge this. Harry Belafonte passing away today at the age of 96. And no, I'm not going to play the Banana Boat song. I don't care about that. But he also did. Harry Belafonte was also very active in terms of championing civil rights. And I happened to find this. I was initially, I wanted to share something that kind of got into his broader history in the civil rights movement. But then I saw this on Newsweek.com, and I said, actually, let's go with this. And we'll look at this article, and this will be kind of how we memorialize him today. Harry Belafonte's unique personal connection to Martin Luther King Jr. So this is from Newsweek. This went up today, as Harry Belafonte has been passed away at the age of 96. It says here, Bernice King, the youngest daughter of Martin Luther King Jr., eulogized singer and civil rights activist Harry Belafonte on social media this week, reflecting on the close relationship that he had with her family, and particularly her father. Bernice tweeted today alongside a picture of Belafonte at her father's 1968 funeral, quote, "When I was a child, hashtag Harry Belafonte showed up for my family in very compassionate ways. In fact, he paid for the babysitter for me and my siblings. Here he is mourning with my mother at the funeral service for my father at Morehouse College. I won't forget. Rest well, sir," unquote. Earlier that morning, Belafonte's longtime spokesman announced that Belafonte, 96, had died at his Manhattan home from congestive heart failure. Belafonte is remembered as a barriers-breaking figure who rose to stardom at a time when racial discrimination and segregation were still widespread in the U.S. Besides his success as a singer and actor, his legacy is largely defined by his work toward achieving racial justice and his lifelong friendship with Dr. King. Belafonte befriended the civil rights leader early in his career, acting as a major donor to King's Southern Christian Leadership Conference and repeatedly providing the funds to bail out King and other activists from jail. He said that his political views were already in place when he met King and that he was, quote, utterly committed to the civil rights struggle, unquote. But King affirmed his outlook. In 1963, he participated in the March on Washington, which was led by King and became the most prominent protest action for civil rights in American history. King famously delivered his I Have a Dream speech as the event's keynote speaker. On the 50th anniversary of that day, Belafonte recalled how truly inspiring the march was and revealed his thoughts on his friend's renowned speech, which he said he helped write. I did not know that. I had no idea that Belafonte had helped write that speech. Belafonte wrote in a 2013 op-ed for The Guardian, quote, I was not surprised by the content because we had worked with him on it and we were in tune with the message, but we were not prepared for what was the delivery, the oratory, the imagery flowed, the language flowed. It was Shakespearean, unquote. In the op-ed, he urged America to stop the deification of King so people could, quote, begin to understand how an ordinary man is empowered to find himself. King came from somewhere, and that somewhere was the same hardship and struggle to survive of many of his followers. He had the same fears and hopes and anxieties and aspirations. To deify him is, in a way, to reduce his achievement and to remove the radicalism from it, unquote. Interesting. That's an interesting perspective. Belafonte provided financially for the King family throughout his friendship with the civil rights leader. The babysitter that Bernice remembered today is well documented. Belafonte had hired a nurse to help the family shortly after Bernice's birth in 1963, at the peak of the civil rights movement. Even after King's assassination, Belafonte continued to give money to the family. King's wife, Coretta Scott King, said of Belafonte in her autobiography, quote, whenever we got into trouble or when tragedy struck, Harry has always come to our aid, his generous heart wide open, unquote. However, his relationship with the King children was rocky at times. In 2006, he was, I didn't know about this. In 2006, he was disinvited by the children to speak at Coretta's funeral after then President George W. Bush said he would attend. Belafonte had been an outspoken critic of Bush. In 2013, Belafonte sued King's 3 surviving children, including Bernice, in a dispute over 3 documents that Belafonte said were his property, but that the children said belonged to their father's estate. The documents consisted of an outline of one of King's famous speeches, reflections about the 2 men's friendship, and notes King carried in his pocket the day of his death. The suit was settled the next year, with Belafonte retaining possession. All right, so there you have it. So Harry Belafonte has passed away at the age of 96. So I wanted to look at something to honor him. And let's see. 603-250-6007 is a number. The time goes so fast. That's why I said, 603-250-6007. If you'd like to join us on the studio line today. Something I saw, by the way, purely by, we'll get to the Biden's announcement and that, but something I just happened to see purely by happenstance. Prank Stallone, who is at the CJS on Twitter. That is, of course, Chris James from Not Even a Show, our friend Chris James, our token Canadian. No, we know several Canadians, actually, but we love Chris James. This is completely random, but it just struck me as kind of funny. So, if you're not familiar with Chris on Not Even a Show, he makes crank calls but he does, or prank calls, but he does something beyond that too. You've got to see the show. Check out, NEAS on YouTube, and you'll be glad that you did. It's very entertaining. But, so this is on, he tweeted this earlier. I just happened to see this. Texted Jordan Peterson to ask him how he fell for a satire article from a site called the Dunning-Kruger Times, and his response was to tell me to stop trying to pretend I'm smart and cool, and recommended a website to get my life back on track. He never addressed the question. So this is what Chris James sent to Jordan Peterson. Dr. Peterson, I'm genuinely wondering how someone brilliant like you and a psychologist to boot could fall for a satire site called the Dunning-Kruger Times. That is a valid question. And Peterson replied, don't you have something better to do with your life than sneak about like this and pretend you're smart and cool? Is that the best you can do? Try the selfauthoring.com site and see if you can put your life on a more productive track, truly. Now, I'm going to click that link because I'm curious what selfauthoring.com is. But we'll do that in a moment. Maybe our friend EZG already knows the answer. EZG, what is selfauthoring.com? Can you tell us about that site? Hello?
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hey, I didn't really do any research, but
oh, so you don't
I heard
know?
a guy named Larry Elder is running for president. He's a radio guy. You know anything about that fella?
Larry Elder. Yes, I am familiar with him. He also ran for governor of California, challenging Gavin Newsom. Yes, I am familiar with Larry Elder. He is running for the Republican.
What kind of radio guy is he?
Conservative. He is an African American conservative. He is very successful. He's nationally syndicated, and I've seen him on quite a few television programs. Very bright guy, sharp guy. I'm not a conservative, so I disagree with him on some things, but I do respect him, and yes, he has thrown his hat into the ring for the Republican nomination. Yes.
You know, my friend said he can't win because he's not old enough.
Larry Elder?
This is a joke, you know. He's not in his 70s or 80s, is he?
Oh, I get it. No, he might be in his 60s or younger. I'm actually not sure how old Larry Elder is, but
my friend said he's 72 or something. He's too young, you know.
72? I don't think he's that old.
I think we can have to go Google it. I guess I might have been wrong, but I think he said 72.
Is Larry Elder 70? I guess it's possible. I didn't think he was that old. Let's see.
Yeah, he's too old to run, though, isn't he? You got to be really old now to win.
You mean too young to run?
Boy.
Yeah, we need. Let's keep.
We get stuck. We get stuck with Trump and Biden. I'm definitely gonna be angry.
Prepare to be angry because that's exactly what's likely to happen. Larry Elder is.
I'd rather vote for Donald Duck then.
Larry Elder is 70.
Oh, 70. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be happy with. Oh yeah, first of all, I'm gonna vote for somebody else. I shouldn't announce who I'm voting for on the on your show because you never know who's listening. That's my personal business, right? I shouldn't be announcing that on the radio.
What? What shouldn't you be announcing that you're going to announce anyway?
I think I already announced it. I'm voting. I know she won't be around in the general election, but I'm voting for Nikki Haley in the primary election.
Oh, you
probably won't be around in the election in November, probably.
She will not be the nominee. The nominee will be Donald Trump, and we will get a rematch of Trump versus Biden. God help us all. And I'm not even a religious man when I say that.
Biden's already beat Trump before, so don't you think he would have a good chance to beat him again?
I think so. Jenny doesn't think so. We disagree on that. I think he will beat. I think he will beat Trump again. But my feelings, EZG, and I think we agree on this. I'd prefer that neither of them were running. I say
we don't need to elect an older president 3 times in a row.
Yeah, I say I know it's a little, it's a little scary, putting the kids in charge, but I think we should elect a young, fresh-faced 65 to 67-year-old to get it, some young whippersnapper in their 60s to get in there. And, we don't need to be electing, Biden will be 82 upon his inauguration if he wins a second term. Trump is in his late 70s.
I've seen this little promo, vote for me on WMUR. It's like 3 minutes. Oh, God. It sounds good, but...
Whose promo?
The Joe Biden thing, why he's running for president.
The video. Yes.
Commercial. Not commercial, but it's a video on WMUR. It lasts 3 minutes.
Yes. I think it's well done. I mean, I think
why I'm running, and we got to do this and do that. And it's like, oh, okay.
Finish the job. That's the slogan, apparently.
They promise the moon, and then they say, well, we don't have time to finish all in 4 years. We got to have another 4 years.
Well,
Very rarely a president loses. I know Trump Sr. lost, but very rarely the president has to. Donald Trump lost.
Did you just say?
Very rarely a president loses for his second term, right?
Did you just say Trump Sr.? Because I don't remember Fred Trump ever being president.
No, Biden Sr.
Biden.
He didn't win the election, and of course, Trump still thinks he won, but Trump actually lost.
Biden Sr.
You don't see that very often now. A president does not win re-election.
You don't see that very often. Oh, that's true. Yes. Well, you do have a.
Well, Jimmy Carter didn't win, I guess. Yeah, Jimmy Carter did not win.
I mean, incumbency.
Believe it or not, he's still hanging on. He's a fighter, I guess. He's still been in hospice for a while now.
He is in hospice. Jimmy Carter, of course. Yes. He also
he's
in his
the oldest living president. I think he's like 97 or 98 years old.
He's
way up there.
He's pushing 100. Yeah.
Right, but I'm glad he's still hanging on. He's a fighter.
Yep. He's done a lot of great work
Very rarely
post-presidency.
does a president lose his second term, right? Doesn't happen very often.
Doesn't happen very often.
We can only hope it does. But then again, we're stuck with the other guy. So damn if we do, damn if we don't.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to voting third party, I think, for this election. Hey, I voted
Donald Duck for both of those two guys again.
I voted for Gary Johnson in both 2012 and 2016. I might be, at this point. Hey,
but he's not running again, though, is he?
I doubt it. But hey, you know what? Give me the.
I doubt it.
Give me
Maybe
the.
I'll vote for that Larry Elder guy. No, that's right. He won't be around generally.
He won't be on the ticket.
Said it on the radio before, so.
I say.
General election, I don't know.
I say, give me the craziest third-party independent candidate you can find and run him, and I'll vote for him. How's that? Screw it.
What's that guy with a thing on his head, that boot on his head? Is he running again?
Vermin Supreme. I certainly hope so. I'll vote for him.
He's been on your show, right? Has he been on your show before?
Yeah, he's been on my show multiple times. Yes.
Only on the phone? Has he been live in your studio?
I don't think he's been live in studio here with me at WMNH. He was when I did the television show, but we've had him on the phone. We've had him do a call in here since I've been at WMNH. I believe. Yeah.
I never met the guy. He has a lot of good ideas, but I don't think he'll ever win.
He has great ideas, EZG. Listen, first of all, dental hygiene is very, very important. I'm not sure about the free pony. I think it's a great idea as long as it's not compulsory. Yeah. You shouldn't force people to have a free pony because what if they have nowhere to put it? Now, our friend Nick Murdoch, who is in the chat room, says in all caps, free ponies for all Americans. I would say, make it like, like Pete Buttigieg, he had the Medicare for all who want it. That was his thing. I would I would modify that to free ponies for all who want them. Not everyone can handle taking care of a pony.
Run again?
Pete Buttigieg?
No, the other guy you were just talking about.
Vermin Supreme?
The guy in charge. The guy in charge of the roads.
The guy in charge of the roads?
No, he ran for president before.
Pete Buttigieg? The transportation secretary?
He can run again.
Yeah, I said that before, and you said no. Yes, I do think he'll run again in the future. He's not going to challenge Biden, if that's what you're getting at. But he'll run again in the future.
You want as a third party?
No, he'll run again in the future, like he'll run in 2028.
Oh yeah, he's still around though. So he's a young kid. He's gotta be what, in his 50s?
No, not. He's probably barely 40, early 40s. I think he was.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He was.
I met him for a second in Manchester at the Rex Theater.
Yeah, did you like him?
I shook his hand, and that was it.
Yeah. What'd you think?
And Daryl Dagan's father, kid was there.
Ben Dion?
He had a show on WM. Oh my God, he had a show on the radio. What was his name?
Ben.
I hope he's not listening.
Ben Dion of the Weekly Dion.
Yeah, I saw him there too. He hadn't met a lot of the candidates. Oh yeah, one last question: are you guys going to be done? There's a general election. I mean, the primary will probably be in early January. Are you guys going to be down at the hotel again?
Oh, I don't know yet. That's a ways off. Probably, I would assume.
Yeah, that was good radio, guys, interviewing all the people, and that was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed that very much. Stephen Conley Sr. Came and visited us.
Who did?
Stephen Conley Sr. with the guy with the secret documents.
Oh my God, I wasn't going to mention that name. I wasn't going to mention that guy's name anymore.
I have a very nice picture of myself with Tulsi Gabbard from that event. Of course, now she's a total psycho.
Yeah, I met her at the at the Bookery.
Uh-huh.
I was going to vote for her, but I wasn't an independent at that time, so I voted for the other guy.
Oh.
Probably won't be allowed in the studio anymore, but you brought it up.
Easy G, this is very important because Scott Robinson brings this up, and I know this is not an official entertainment report, but perhaps you can answer this. Scott Robinson says, I heard the Hulkster is running for president. That's who I'm voting for. Can you confirm that, Easy G? Are we going to get some... is Hulkamania...
I think that's fake news.
Is Hulkamania going to run wild in the White House?
Yeah. Since we brought up wrestling, one more thing. I don't know if you heard that. I think it was just kind of causing trouble, as he always does. CM Punk was hiding out back, and he was talking to people, and he talked to Triple H. He said hi, I guess. And then Vince McMahon told him to hit the road. Do you think that's all about... I think it's all about... It's nothing to see there. He's still a contract at AEW.
Right.
He's only at 20 minutes. Do you think it's... I don't think he's going to go show WWE. He didn't leave on good terms.
He is still under contract with AEW. His appearance backstage
nobody knows how long.
At a WWE event was either a publicity stunt or he genuinely wanted to bury the hatchet and hang out for a little bit. But they had to ask him to leave.
Had 20 minutes.
Yeah, he was there briefly. Well, it was in Chicago, and that's where he lives. But they did have to ask him to leave because they don't want to get accused of contract tampering. Because then they get hauled into court.
You're right. You're right. I didn't think about that.
Yep. So they didn't want him sticking around.
Who knows how long his contract's for? They don't really announce that anymore.
They don't what?
They don't really announce how long the contract is for. Especially a guy like that, you don't want to give that information.
He's
I don't know if he's coming back.
He's on a
multi-year... Do you think that would be good for business? I wrote that on the Eric Silva's Facebook Messenger.
You wrote...
He said it's not to do about nothing. You don't think it's coming back?
Coming back to WWE?
Right.
No.
What's your opinion?
Maybe someday. But he's on a multi-year deal with AEW. He's going back to... He's supposed to be on the June event that they're running in Chicago. He'll be there.
And they're talking about him being on the Saturday night show.
Yes.
And Eric said that was a bad idea.
Their new Saturday show. Eric who? You're Eric.
No, the other Eric Pilcher, the guy who does the movie reviews.
Oh, Eric Pilcher, yes. I thought maybe you meant Eric
Bischoff. It was a bad idea to have that Saturday night show.
I agree.
How much wrestling can one person watch?
Yes, how much? How much wrestling do you watch, Easy G?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, well, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. We'll let you go there. Open the lines for somebody else.
Easy G, you are a real American. All right, very good. Wow. Let's just hear a little bit of this, shall we? Yes, I genuinely like that song. I always have. A little bit of Rick Derringer, Real American, who I believe, I think he's actually Canadian, but I'm trying to research that. I got in touch with his management once, Rick Derringer's management, and I asked to see his, they claim he is actually an American, and I said, well, I'd like to see his birth certificate, and I got a response that said, well, are you one of those people who, even if we show you his birth certificate, you're just going to claim it was fake and photoshopped and still not believe it? And I said, no, I'm not one of those folks, but point taken. 603-250-6007 is the number if you'd like to join us today. 603-250-6007. Miriam Banish joins us in the Facebook live chat. Hello, Miriam. Nick Murdoch says, Jesus, Mayor Pete is young, 41. I'm older than Pete. Why are they letting kids run for POTUS? I know, yes. I mean, it's crazy, right? I mean, you got to be. I think, in this era, you should be at least 77 years old. Nick Murdoch also says, Tulsi was always a total psycho. Grew up in a cult. When she was like 17 or 18, she was anti-LGBT. Oh, she was in anti-LGBT ads. I didn't know that. But her weird cult decided to go Democrat, so she did. But now, not so much going Democrat. Oh, yeah, she's totally flipped. I mean, now she's totally moved over. But she cashed in, It's, listen, I've always said, obviously, people change over time. Some people do, some people don't. Some people change politically over time. They evolve or they devolve depending on your point of view. And but she's one of those who I don't think it's genuine with her at all. I think she the stuff she says now, it's like, whoa. She was going on Tucker Carlson on a regular basis and going on there and just agreeing with him about everything. She's totally pro-Russia, anti-Ukraine, as was Tucker Carlson. Probably why they got along so well. Not sorry to see that guy go. Going on. He actually. I mean, we might get into it today if we have time. There's some growing consensus about why he was given the heave-ho from Fox News. But, he was probably the biggest pro-Russian propagandist in all of conservative media. Well, yeah, I mean, I shouldn't say probably. He was, I mean, he came right out and said, I remember when the invasion first happened, he came right out and said he was rooting for Putin. I don't know. I mean, it's one thing. Listen, it is one thing to have questions about. Listen, I've said it on the show. I mean, I have questions, I have doubts, I have worries about potential nuclear escalation with the Russians, for example, and I think that's a legitimate thing to be concerned about, and our involvement in this. I know, I mentioned Billy Painter earlier because tonight my dad is going to be on Billy's show along with John Grosvenor, and I wonder if they'll get into that. My dad's position is he's very pro-Ukraine and very anti-Russia and anti-Putin. And I don't know what John Grosvenor's position is. I know Billy's position is, we shouldn't be involved. My position is, of course, we have to stand up to Russia and we can't let this abide. And I think we've been doing the right thing in helping Ukraine. But obviously, if if it begins to look like we actually are on the brink of World War III, I might change my mind. But the point I'm making is it's one thing to have questions and doubts and concerns. In fact, I think it's healthy to do so. If you're totally committed to one position, you might not be thinking about it hard enough if you don't have any doubts at all about how we're proceeding and how the United States is managing our involvement there. Having said that, Tucker Carlson would not present it that way on his show, and neither would Tulsi Gabbard, and neither would others on both the right and the left who continue to, although the ones on the left that I see online, like what's his name, Jackson Hinkle and people like this, I don't think I think they're just in it for the grift. They see a lane there that they can make money with. Jackson Hinkle definitely a grifter in my view. But it's one thing, like I said, to have doubts and questions and concerns. It's another to just be totally like, well, yes, we have to support Putin. I mean, maybe Trump laid the groundwork for all of that when he stood next to Putin and Helsinki and sided with him against our own American intelligence agencies. But that was Tucker Carlson's position. No, he's pro-Putin. He wasn't shy about telling you. And he wasn't subtle about it. And so I'm happy to see him gone, frankly. But not that he's really gone. He's going to pop up somewhere, and he'll have taken a big chunk of that audience with him. Sorry, I didn't see this in time, Scott. But Scott was asking in the chat room, Easy, can you give a shout out to my granddaughter, Amara? She's in the car with me. I'll give her a shout out. Shout outs to Amara or Amira. I apologize if I'm not saying that correctly. Yeah, Pete Buttigieg, Miriam brings it up too. Yeah, Pete Buttigieg, only 41 years old. Yeah, when he first got into the presidential race in 2020, I mean, he was by far the youngest candidate in the field. It's hard to believe Tulsi Gabbard was also on that stage with the others, so I'll tell you. But yeah, Axios does have the story up here. This was, April 21st. This went up. Larry Elder, as EZG brought up, he says he is running for the presidency. Oh, but the thing that I wanted to look at, so I want to see what this site is that Dr. Peterson, Jordan Peterson, was recommending to Chris James, this selfauthoring.com. I'm curious what this is. Okay, I guess it's just about self-publishing your own books. Why would Jordan Peterson send Chris James that site, though? Like, what's the point of that? Is there some sort of joke there I'm not getting? I don't understand. My feelings about, I can tell you, though, this. My feelings about, and I suspect Chris James and I might disagree on this. My feelings about Dr. Jordan Peterson are a little complex because, on the one hand, I've seen interviews with him where he's made political arguments where not only do I disagree with him, but some of the things he says, I think he sounds himself like he is might be insane. On the other hand, some of his self-help stuff, some of the videos that he has posted, I haven't read any of his books, but some of the videos that he's posted on YouTube, just giving advice, mental health advice, some of that I think is actually really good. He posted a video. I remember there was one day, I struggle with depression and whatnot and ideations that are not helpful. And there's one day I was looking around for stuff online, trying to, just reaching out for something on YouTube that I could watch that maybe would make me feel better. And I've been doing that for as long as YouTube has existed and I've known about it, looking for things to try to make me feel better. Nothing ever actually does, but I keep searching. And I stumbled upon one of his videos. And Jordan Peterson, he was talking about suicidal ideations, and he was saying, and this, I think he said it was something that someone had told him or something that he had read. So he didn't come up with this concept, but he was repeating it to others because it helped him in his own depression, with his own depression and his ideations, and he would repeat it to others. He would say, as far as now they say unaliving yourself instead of the other term because I suppose if I use the other term too much, I won't be able to post this video on YouTube after. But as far as harming yourself, let's just put it that way. He would tell people, put it off. Just put it off to tomorrow. You can always harm yourself tomorrow. You don't have to do it today. Procrastinate. And it sounds weird, right? Just that's how you deal with it. Just put it off. But the idea is every day you procrastinate. If you're having thoughts about harming yourself every day, when those thoughts creep in, you just say, you know what? I have this urge, this ideation, but I'm going to put it off to tomorrow. I can do it tomorrow. I don't have to do it right now. And then every day you just put it off another day and another day and another day until you eventually get to a point where you get a break from the ideations and you don't think about it anymore and you're in a better place. But it just a sort of a quick, easy way, almost like a cheat code, you might call it if you're a gamer. Just a way to deal with that ideation in the moment. Okay, you're having these thoughts, you recognize them, but then you say, the way that you deal with them is you say, okay, this is what I'm thinking about doing, but I can always do it tomorrow. I don't have to do it today. And it becomes a way of just, you keep putting it off and putting it off. And, it's the nature of procrastination, right? If you're a procrastinator, if you're someone who puts things off, a lot of the things you put off, you just never end up getting around to, right? Because you put them off so long that after a while, there doesn't seem to be a point. You say, oh, I'll do that when I get around to it. Most of the things, if you say, I'll get around to it, that's another way of saying that you're never actually going to do it. So think of it that way when you have those ideations. Anyway, I watched that video where he talked about it, and I got to tell you, it resonated with me. I really got something from that. I was like, all right, if I'm having those thoughts, okay, I'm thinking about this, but I'm going to put it off. I'm not going to do it right now. I can always do it tomorrow. For whatever reason, that connected with me in my mind. And I've seen some of his other videos too, where he talks about depression and ideations and so forth. And I find his self-help stuff pretty interesting and useful. I heard David Pakman once say something similar. If you're not familiar with David Pakman, he's an online, he's a content creator. He's someone who's also very critical of Jordan Peterson politically. But he did acknowledge, he said, in one of his videos, he said, some of his self-help stuff is actually pretty good. JFed in the chat room says, ice bath can help with depression. I don't know. If I get hypothermia, I'm going to probably be more depressed. But JFed, he's always trying to talk people into the ice bath. No, it sounds like it's working wonders for you, JFed, and you're still getting something from it. So I think that's great. In all seriousness, I think that's awesome. Wouldn't be for me, but I think that's awesome. Miriam says in the chat, I had a bad feeling about Tulsi from the start. I don't know why, but apparently it was accurate. I need to trust my gut. Oh, yeah. Miriam also said, obsessing about some intense interest can raise dopamine levels, which is super helpful. Watching puppy videos, listen to a singing clown. Yeah, that one just works for me. Of course, referring to Puddles Pity Party, the singing clown, who's very talented. Jenny actually went with Miriam to a show to see Puddles in Concord not too long ago. Chris Rose from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts joins us in the Facebook live chat. Hello, Chris. Anyway, but I applaud what our friend Prank Stallone on Twitter at the CJS, what he does, and I am truly baffled by how Dr. Peterson chose to respond to Chris's query about the satirical website. I'll tell you what, though, there's always people who will believe. I don't think anyone really believes The Onion if they see a news story from The Onion. Everyone knows The Onion, but or Babylon Bee. I think that one's pretty obvious. But some of these satirical websites, they'll actually fool some people, and then people will see them. It's happened to me where I've shared out a news story from a satire site, and then people, most people know, but there's always somebody who will start commenting on it because they think it's real. It's like, no, it's satire. There's a military one, like Duffel Bag News or something. It's funny, but not everyone gets it. But that's the nature of humor, though, anyway. Everybody's sense of humor is different, and there's some types of humor. Listen, I've said things I have a very dry sense of humor, and I can be very, I can say almost anything with a straight face, no matter how completely absurd and insane sounding it is. And I'm sure that I've said things on this show where I was kidding, and I assume the audience knows I'm kidding, but there was probably somebody out there listening, especially if it's a newer listener who doesn't know my sense of humor, who thought that I was completely serious. Yeah, Miriam says not everyone gets satire. Yeah, satire, it's not a kind of humor that everyone can really appreciate. Nick Murdoch says, not even a show is how I found Matt Connerton Unleashed. Yes, thank you for that, Nick. Yes. Well, we're so glad that you found us, my friend. We are so glad. Yeah, I've definitely benefited from being. It's so funny. If you're a longtime listener, you already know the whole story, so I won't go through the whole thing. But the way that we originally wound up on Not Even a Show was the very first time, because I went back and I found all of them, the very first time that Chris James ever called us, when I realized, like months and months later, who he actually was and where he was from and what he was doing with this content, I just thought he was a prank caller. I always suspected it was something specific that he was doing, but I wasn't sure what it was. I thought it was for some sort of content. But I found the very first episode of Not Even a Show where he called us. And yeah, Nick says Chris would order pizza and say a swear word. Yeah. The very first time Chris called us and he put us in his show, he introduced the clip. This was before we became friends. He introduced the clip by referring to me as a right-wing shock jock. He said, Matt Connerton is a right-wing shock jock, and we had some fun. And because apparently that's how he perceived me initially, which is funny because I'm not right-wing, clearly. But I must have, something about me gave him the impression that I was. And I don't know. I don't know why. And I remember I was on a show that he was doing. What was the name of it? He was doing this other show where he would have guests on and interview them. I can't remember the name of the show now because he's had a bunch of different content over the years. But I remember asking him about that, and he didn't remember that, actually, that he had that misconception about me. But anyway, he learned. He learned more about, over time that I'm not conservative, and he learned that I actually have a sense of humor, and you can prank call my show, and I'll actually go along with the bit because to me it's interesting, and I'm like, let's have fun with it, and you can call and make fun of me. I don't take myself that seriously. I take the show seriously in the sense that I'm passionate about it, and I take pride in it, but I never take myself that seriously, which is important, and we ended up becoming friends, so which I'm very happy about. Well, we should get to the big political news of the day, which of course is sorry, I'm getting sleepy just thinking about it, but Joe Biden, 80-year-old Joe Biden did announce his candidacy. Before we get into it, and again, we're not going to spend a lot of time on it because, like I said, to me it's a big yawn and a snore, as I've demonstrated, because we knew it was coming. We knew he was going to announce it's going to be Trump versus Biden again in 2024. That's what we get. Doesn't have to be that way, but that's what that's the trajectory that we're on. I don't see it changing. But let me give the studio line number again quickly, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. But one thing that Biden did say that in his speech, he gave a union speech. He's very pro-union, of course. I am too. That is something we agree on. But during the speech, and again, it sort of served as, it wasn't an official rally speech, obviously. That wasn't why he was there, but it did sort of serve as that by default. But he quoted Trump on something, and it's something that I've talked about. So if you're a longtime listener of the show, I'm not a big fan of the 45th president, Donald John Trump. I have many criticisms, but while I have my opinions, I try to be fair and give credit where due. And something that I always gave Trump credit for was his position on the debt ceiling. Well, here, this is what... well, actually, here, we'll just go through the article because it's not very long, but we'll get to that. But Biden quoted something Trump said because, and by the way, I am, not to be a downer and not to alarm anybody, I am genuinely worried. I have the same level of worry right now that I did in the summer of 2011, 12 years ago, about the debt limit. And, I don't know if people know this, but we've already technically crashed through it. Right now, the government is operating under what they call extraordinary measures. I think that's the term, extraordinary measures, where they find ways to pay for stuff, basically, even having already passed the debt limit. But eventually, that will expire could be in June, could be sooner. And when that does, the country will go into default for the first time in our nation's history. So we do this dance with the debt limit. I think they should get rid of the debt limit, and then we don't have to do this dance. But something I always gave Trump credit for was he was right. He said, we are not going to negotiate on the debt limit. We will not use that as a negotiating tool. It's reckless and stupid. I remember Mick Mulvaney at the time when this came up during the Trump administration. By the way, Republicans voted 3 times during the Trump administration to raise the debt limit. No big deal. And I remember Mick Mulvaney making the rounds on the Sunday morning talk shows and explaining it on more than one occasion. This is the president's position. We don't use the debt limit to negotiate for anything. It's a separate thing. We can't fool around with it. It's too dangerous. And he was right. That was something Trump was absolutely right about. I'm worried about the current trajectory of things, however, because the Biden administration is saying we want just raise the debt limit like you had been doing during the previous administration. We want it should be a clean bill, separate from everything, no negotiating on it, just raise the debt limit on schedule so we don't risk default. And, of course, Kevin McCarthy is saying, no, we have spending cuts that we want, and we want to negotiate. And at some point, they're going to have to negotiate. I mean, Biden's position is correct, I believe, in principle. The debt limit should be voted on separately as a clean bill, and it should be done with because, like I said, Trump was correct. Reagan was correct. This is something you cannot risk defaulting on the full faith and credit of the United States. It has never happened in our history, and it will be catastrophic if it does happen. It's not a question of whether or not it will be catastrophic. It's just a question of how catastrophic. So Biden is correct in principle. However, I think he's going to turn out to be incorrect in practice. You know, the principle is correct, but I don't think he's going to be able to avoid some sort of negotiation. But Kevin McCarthy, he's walking a high wire because, you know, he's got people. There are people in the House, in the Republican House, these House Freedom Caucus people, some of them who would actually rather default, who say, we won't vote on the debt limit for any reason. We won't vote to raise it. Some of them, I think, genuinely don't understand the difference between the debt limit and the federal budget itself. That's a problem. But anyway, this is the one part of Biden's speech that I thought was interesting. So, again, this is from Mediaite. I thought this was a smart play. I don't think it'll yield anything ultimately, but it makes sense. Biden quotes Trump to slam House Republicans using the debt ceiling as a negotiating wedge. So it says here, President Joe Biden spoke at North America's Building Trades Unions Conference in Washington today and tore into House Republicans using the debt ceiling as a negotiating wedge to cut spending, even quoting former President Donald Trump to make his point. Biden spoke just hours after officially announcing his re-election bid, and while he never directly mentioned the campaign launch, the president took aim at MAGA Republicans. Notably, MSNBC was the only cable news network to carry the speech live. While speaking about closing tax loopholes for corporations, an animated Biden declared, quote, "We won't even talk about raising taxes just to stop the subsidies. Same old trickle down dressed up in MAGA clothing," unquote. Biden raged as he denounced GOP opposition to making big corporations pay more in taxes. Quote, "Only worse because this time they're saying that if they get their way, if they don't get their way, if Biden doesn't agree with them and agree to all the cuts and these tax increases for others, working people, they're going to let the country default on its debt," unquote. Then he said, quote, "This is debt that took over 200 years to accumulate. The last administration alone increased the debt by nearly 40% in 4 years. In 4 years. And every single time they passed the debt ceiling without any question, default would be totally irresponsible. It would mean cuts in Social Security, Medicare, higher interest rates for your credit cards, car loans, mortgages, the entire economy put at risk." Moody's, you know, that economic operation that comments on the economy, they said the Republican plan would cost 780,000 jobs. 780 jobs, working and middle-class seniors paying the price. The speaker likes to quote President Reagan. I love these guys, how they selectively quote people, including make-up quotes for me. Well, President Reagan made it clear we pay our debt. Seriously, here is a quote from him. He said, "The United States has a special responsibility to itself and the world to meet its obligations. It means we have a well-earned reputation, reliability, and credibility, two things that set us apart from much of the world." Now, I didn't think I'd be quoting Donald Trump, but even Donald Trump said, "I can't imagine anyone ever thinking of using the debt ceiling as a negotiating wedge." And Trump was right. These guys are saying, unless I agree to cut all these programs by 22%, which is growing the economy, and cut taxes for the super wealthy and corporations, folks, America is not a deadbeat nation. We pay our bills. Now, again, I don't know. I haven't analyzed what's in the McCarthy plan that was released. I don't know about that 22%, if that's exactly what it is. And obviously that's when you negotiate, you start at something you're not going to get, and you negotiate from there and you try to meet somewhere. But so I don't know about that, how accurate that is. And they are going to have to sit down at some point. They're just going to have to. But Trump was right and Reagan was right, and Biden is correct in quoting them. They were right. I also, George W. Bush, I believe that was his position as well when he was president, was it not? We raised the debt ceiling on schedule. You have to. You cannot risk default. But somewhere along the way, I mean, it started with the Tea Partiers who actually, again, you know, I find myself doing this more lately. I was a co-host on Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades. Gary Hopper, God rest his soul, he passed away not long ago. I love Gary. But on that show, we would have these conservatives on who, some of them just didn't seem to get it because, again, summer of 2011, I was on that show at that time, and we would have these people on who were, they actually wanted, it wasn't just a matter of, well, we should negotiate spending cuts and this and that. Some of them, I'm telling you, sometimes I tell people this and they say, well, I don't know anyone who would say that. What? I'm telling you, these people exist. And then they hold elected office. Some of them would come on and they would say, no, we should default. We have to draw a line somewhere. We should go ahead and default. And it's like, okay, do you understand the difference between the debt ceiling and the federal budget? I'm not sure you do, but they didn't want to hear it. Scary stuff to contemplate. I hope that's not where we're headed. I was very concerned in the summer of 2011, and I'm very concerned now. But Biden and McCarthy are going to have to sit down and negotiate something. But part of the problem is, like I said, Biden's correct in principle, but not in practice. Because he's not going to get what he thinks he wants and what he should want and what we all should want, in my view, on this, which is a clean raising of the debt limit. Better still. By the way, Mitch McConnell at one point, Senator Mitch McConnell, obviously the Republican leader, he in the past has proposed maybe we should just get rid of the debt limit and then we don't have to keep going through this, playing chicken with the, not just the economy of the United States, the global economy. The global effects that the United States going into default would probably be quite catastrophic. And this is something that economists, across the spectrum will tell you, whether they're Keynesians on the left or supply-siders on the right. Any economist with any sort of credentials will tell you, yes, default is a very, very bad idea. Eon Viman 4 in the chat room. That sounds like the name of a science fiction film. Says, good afternoon, #Matt, we said. What's going on? We are from Greensboro, North Carolina. I suspected that. What are you talking about today? We said, Biden is a good being president, we say, and Trump just an ex-president, duh, we said. We are from Greensboro, North Carolina, and we are a pop singing group of a man band, #Matt. Yes. And Nick Murdoch says, top of the hour, time for a break. Yes, Nick, my trusty producer. Eon Vimon 4 says, Vimon like that bad hero from Spider-Man 3. Wait, is this supposed? His name was V. Is it supposed to be Venom? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Listen, guys. I don't know what goes on in Greensboro, North Carolina. Let me just put it that way. All right, I'm going to play a couple songs. Yeah, Nick Murdoch said the same thing. Venom? I don't know. Who is the bad guy in Spider-Man 3? I'm not a big superhero movie guy. I don't care about any of that. I just don't. Sorry. I don't know. And I'm sure Greensboro is a lovely place, but I don't know much about it. So Miriam Banish says, I definitely think he's thinking of Venom. Okay, so it is Venom. So why? But doesn't this say Eon Vimon? I still think that sounds like a science fiction movie. Eon Vimon 4. It sounds like a planet that they would visit. I don't know who they is. Astronauts. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Melanie says maybe Spider-Man should mind his own business. Thank you, Melanie. I agree. And listen, I got to just tell you this. I think, no offense, but anybody that shoots webbing out of his wrists, I think is a little weird. I think that's a little weird. All right, we're going to play a couple songs for you. It is the top of the hour. I'm going to play this great song, Goodbye to When, from the band Becoming Human. They will be our musical guests tomorrow on the show in the second hour. They're going to be Skyping in from the great state of Texas. Look forward to that. I love their sound. And then we're also going to play Angel from Infinity Vein because I'm wearing the shirt today, and I love the shirt, and I love the song, and I love the band. So we're going to play those for you, and then we will come back with hour number 2, numero dos of Matt Connarton Unleashed. There is plenty more to come. We are live from the studios of WMNH here in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Don't go away. Here it is. This is Becoming Human.
Do you believe in
come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
Clemento's Pizzeria, family friendly, awesome for a date night. Clemento's Pizzeria.
For delivery, call 603-782-8450.
Clemento's Pizzeria, the best pizza in town.
1875 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Best cocktails around.
Come in as friends and leave as family.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
WMNH, rip the knob off.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are well in hour number 2, numero dos of Matt Connerton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, and hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Tuesday, April 25, 2023. By the way, the songs you just heard during the break, of course, Angel by Infinity Vein, one of our friends, they, if you're watching online, you know, I've got my Infinity Vein shirt on, so I decided to play that. That's their single, and great track. And before that, we heard Becoming Human with a song called Goodbye to When. Great track. Becoming Human is actually going to be my guest tomorrow afternoon on the show. My musical guests, they will be Skyping in from Dallas, Texas. So really looking forward to talking with them. Thursday on the show, we have a musical guest. Peter Pappas will be here with us in studio, and he's going to bring his acoustic guitar and play for us, and really looking forward to that as well. I really like his music. I opened the show with one of his songs today. Really, really good. So that will be tomorrow. I'm sorry, that will be Thursday on the show. Peter Pappas will be here. And by the way, another quick programming note for you. My father, apparently he's becoming a bit of a radio celebrity himself, I dare say. He will be, I'm proud of him. He will be a guest this evening at 7 p.m. on a show called Patriot Confederation. That will be 7 p.m. Eastern. You can listen if you're in Nashua, New Hampshire. Of course, it's carried on... is it WSMN, I think is the station there. But you can, of course, from anywhere, you can go to YouTube. If you go to the Patriot Confederation YouTube channel, you can stream it live there. And then, of course, it'll be available afterward for on demand. But that will be tonight at... Oh, it's actually on Billy Painter's YouTube channel. Gotcha. Yeah, it's on Billy Painter's YouTube channel. Go to Billy Painter on YouTube. And the show is Patriot Confederation. But that'll be streaming tonight there, too, at 7 p.m. So you can check that out. And my dad will be on there with Billy Painter and John Grosvenor. And again, I don't know if I'll be able, depending on how the evening goes, I don't know if I'll be able to check it out live or not. But if not, I'll go back and listen to it afterwards, certainly. But yeah, that's I think it's a 1 hour show. So yes, it's a 1 hour show. So that will be this evening. So there you go. If you'd like to join us today on this program, 603-250-6007 is the studio line, 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. I'm on social media at Matt Connerton. You can email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. And of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. I just saw something pretty funny in there we'll look at in a moment. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is give us a call on the studio line at 603-250-6007. Eon Vimon4 said in the chat room, apparently it was Venom that they were thinking of, the villain from Spider-Man 3, I think. Eon Vimon4 says, we said just pick the name of us, so we just look it up on the dictionary. We just like that name for us, hashtag Matt, is Eon Vimon4. We said it is cool. We say that band Infinity Vein, they rock. Yes, absolutely. Our friend Crystal from Illinois joined us in the chat room. Our friend Will Vegas, who's a friend of WMNH here. He says he's never been on this show. Will's been on the morning show a bunch of times. And also he joined us on a Friday night for Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C. Will says, we say we love that song, Becoming Human, we say. Is that how you say that? Instead of becoming human, becoming human. And Nick Murdoch said in the chat, there was a restaurant in my hometown that actually had that as a typo, Human Chicken, it said. Good restaurant from what I recall, even if they were serving Soylent Green. Soylent Green is people, if I understand the movie correctly. That's disgusting. What is this? Oh. Yeah. Nick is asking a technical question in the chat room. Nick said, feel free to ignore that question if you want. I know you're a political show, and that's more of a Techhead Terry question. Yeah, Techhead Terry actually did call the show once and began peppering me with a series of technical questions. If you don't know Techhead Terry, he loves tech. He just loves talking about tech. There was one, that's from Not Even a Show. There was one segment where he's asking somebody, how can I make money? How can I make a career with my love of tech? And this guy's telling him, well, do you want to work for, do you want to get into tech support? You could work for a helpline, helping people with their technical problems. And Techhead Terry is like, no, I just want to talk about tech. I just love tech. It's just, you have to see it. It's very dry humor and it's very, very funny. Nick Murdoch says, what kind of microphone you working with there? I think I don't even know. I don't even know what brand this is, actually. Oh, it's funny. A very expensive one. Sounds good, though, huh? 603-250-6007 is the studio line. 603-250-6007. Hey, this is weird. I just... remember Peter Navarro, the trade guy from... what was his official title? I don't know. From the Trump administration. He's very mad. This is from Mediaite.com. He's very mad at Brian Kilmeade. Very angry. And it has to do with Tucker Carlson. I really don't want today's show to be all about Tucker, so I've got some other things to get to. But, well, actually, it hasn't been all about Tucker. We talked a lot about Biden and his big announcement today. again, it's a, who cares? We all knew he was running. We didn't all know, actually. Some people thought he might not, but come on. We all knew. Anyway. Peter Navarro, this is from Mediaite. Peter Navarro torpedoes cowardly scumbag never Trumper Brian Kilmeade for replacing Tucker on Fox News. This is, dude. I mean, I guess Tucker Carlson was his buddy or something, but come on. It says here, ex-Trump administration official Peter Navarro lashed out at Fox News and Brian Kilmeade over Tucker's firing, calling Kilmeade a, quote, cowardly scumbag, unquote, for daring to host the 8 p.m. time slot Carlson once occupied. Monday saw a stunning cable news bloodbath. Oh, there you go, Melanie, if you're listening. I know you like that word, bloodbath. As Fox News fired top-rated host Tucker Carlson without warning. Then within minutes, news broke that CNN was firing longtime anchor and central pillar of their morning program in an equally shocking fashion. Carlson's firing drew celebratory victory dances and insults from Carlson's critics, while MAGA world cried out with the anguish of incinerated Alderaan residents. Kind of reaching with that reference there. And when 8 o'clock rolled around, Fox and Friends host Kilmeade was in the host's chair to give his great friend, quote unquote, Tucker, an 8-second send-off. Really? What did he say? Just, sorry, Tucker, we'll miss you or something? Wow. 8 seconds. 31 seconds fewer than Lemon got from his colleagues at CNN this morning. That fill-in spot did not sit well with Navarro, who lashed out at Kilmeade on Twitter. When Kilmeade invited followers to tune in, Navarro responded by writing, quote, hard no at Brian Kilmeade, you never Trump sock puppet. Your midget feet won't fit at Tucker Carlson big shoes in this lifetime. Cut the at Fox News cord now, unquote. I wonder, does he have something personal against Brian Kilmeade, or would he be saying this about anybody who was sitting in that time slot? I mean, what does Peter Navarro expect Fox News to do? Never have anyone host in that time slot ever again, and just have it be reruns of Tucker Carlson's show out of respect for Tucker? What is he expecting? I don't understand his anger. It seems a bit misplaced. I mean, I've seen a lot of, I've seen, on social media and I've seen a lot of wild reactions to Tucker Carlson's firing, but this one is probably the most unhinged I've seen. I mean, I'm no great fan of Brian Kilmeade, but come on, somebody's got to sit there at 8 o'clock. And for Kilmeade, hey, good for him. This is a big break, maybe he'll, because I have no idea what Fox's plan is, but I would not be surprised, just because this is how it often goes in cable news. I would not be surprised if you'll see a number of different people sitting in over the course of the days, weeks, potentially months, sitting in that spot, hosting that hour. And they'll kind of watch the ratings and see who clicks and who doesn't, and who seems like the best fit and who seems like they might be best suited for, because that's a prime slot. That's prime time, right? They'll go through that. This is what I assume, again, just because this is what usually happens. And they'll make a decision eventually on who will be the permanent person. So Kilmeade is probably, I'm sure he loves Tucker. I'm sure he's very sad. But at the same time, opportunity knocks. He's got to answer the door. I don't understand why Navarro is so irrationally angry at Brian Kilmeade. It says here again, this is from Mediaite. He then quote tweeted himself and added, quote, BTW, by the way, this is why at Brian Kilmeade is such a cowardly scumbag. An honorable man would have declined to sit in for at Tucker Carlson the very first night of the firing. But no, the biggest never Trumper at Fox News, this side of Karl Rove, went for the carcass, unquote. What? So no one is supposed to sit there at 8 o'clock. And anyone who does is dishonorable. And I would hardly call Brian Kilmeade a never Trumper. You know, I don't think that term means what you think it means there, Mr. Navarro. Navarro also lashed out at Fox News on Monday night's edition of Newsmax TV's The Balance with host Eric Bolling. Eric Bolling, isn't he another guy who got pushed out of Fox because he was accused of something? I'd forgotten about him. I mean, there's been many who have been pushed out. I'm not suggesting that in Tucker's, we still don't know the reason for Tucker, but it's probably, it sounds like because of Abby Grossberg, not because of sexual harassment, but because of anti-Semitic comments that might have been made. But we don't know that yet, for sure. But that's probably what it's looking at. But I think Eric Bolling, did he sexually harass somebody? Or, you know, like, that's why Bill O'Reilly got pushed out, right? That's why Roger Ailes, he was running the place. He got pushed out. That's why, there's been others. Seems to be but I'd forgotten about Eric Bolling. Anyway. So this is the exchange they had over on Newsmax. Peter Navarro said, well, I just want to salute the king of 8 p.m. television. Now that the only thing worth watching on Fox News is gone, that network, Fox, has cut the cord. That is a network that's a never Trump nest of incompetent puppet heads. Eric Bolling, the king of the 8 o'clock hour, now on cable TV. Watch Bolling. And then Eric Bolling responded, we'll stay conservative. We're not going to move to the center left like Fox is doing. Peter Navarro, always good to have you on. Thank you, my friend. Bye-bye. Thank you. Yes. Fox News, they've gone center left, apparently. As evidenced by their firing of Tucker Carlson. Oh, Nick Murdoch says you are 100% right about Eric Bolling. And shared a link. This is from the LA Times. Yeah, I couldn't remember it's hard to keep up with these guys. Yeah, it says here, ex-Fox News co-host ousted over scandal, joins Newsmax. This was back in June of 2021, so a little under 2 years ago. Says here, Bolling was cut loose from Fox in September 2017. Oh, okay. Was that long ago? He was originally on the 5, I think. Following an investigation into a HuffPost report that he used his cell phone to send unsolicited pictures of his man parts, shall we say, that's some cleaning it up for radio, to current and former female colleagues at the network. What a guy. Jeez. You know what's interesting to me about some of these guys, when their chosen mode of sexual harassment is sending unsolicited pictures of body parts, is the lack of judgment is beyond stunning, but also just the lack of impulse control. Because even if you have very, very poor judgment, there has to be. It might only be a teeny tiny whisper, but there has to be a voice somewhere way, way back, all the way in the back of your mind, perhaps, just so you can barely hear it, but it's got to be there. That voice that says, this might be a bad idea. Sending these pictures unsolicited to current and former female colleagues. There has to be that voice. But I guess if it is just a tiny whisper, you just ignore it and you light your own career on fire. That's always fascinating to me. But just in a broader sense, I'm always fascinated by that too. John Hopwood and I have talked about this on the show. When you see someone with a career in news, or there's some other type of celebrity, and they just exhibit the worst possible judgment. And it's like, I've always been fascinated by the psychology of that. What is it that drives someone to do that? Like somebody who's on top of the world, they've got everything going for them. they're having a great career. They've got all this success. And then it's like one day they just look down at their desk and they say, you know, there's a big red button on this desk that says self-destruct on it. Maybe I'll push it and see what happens. What the hell? And then they just blow themselves up. I mean, it's just bizarre. But I think our friend Charles Richardson from the great state of Florida is on the line. Hello, sir.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Hey, Charles, just let me ask you quickly before you discuss whatever. I'm just curious. Do we have a winner yet in the DeSantis versus Disney death match from Florida?
No, that death match is still going on right now.
Still going.
With Mickey having the full white glove power.
Has anyone taken a steel chair to the head as of yet?
No, not yet. There's been no interference. It's been a pretty boring match.
Gotcha. All right.
So I heard the crowd chanting, "We want tables."
Right. Well, I would.
So I want to press on this issue with the unsolicited body parts. See, the thing is, it's also very gender related. Like all the pressure and all the bad stuff happens to the guys when they send it. You never hear about the females sending their unsolicited body parts over the pictures of them. I don't know why that is. I don't get it. It's just I think it's just pointed directly at males. And me personally, nobody's ever asked to solicit my body parts, so it's always going to be unsolicited. So I don't understand. You know, what's the harm in that? But yes, I am very, very, very focused on that little itty bitty noise that my brain makes to say this is a bad idea. But I do like I do with anytime my wife tells me to take out the trash, I ignore it.
Oh, but doesn't the little tiny voice in the back of your head say ignoring your wife when she asks you to take out the trash is a bad idea?
Yeah. Yes. Same thing.
Yeah, because I would assume there would be consequences for that as well.
Not really, but I don't know that until later.
Ah, okay. I get the picture.
Yeah. But the bottom line is, I think people need to go ahead and stop accusing the male gender of exposing themselves unsolicited when the female gender doesn't get any type of reaction like this. I feel it is definitely one-sided. And I could be wrong, but that's my honest opinion on that. So I think there needs to, you know what, male body parts lives matter, okay?
Wow.
That's right.
I don't know.
Take care of yourself.
All right, Charles, thank you for the call. Bye-bye. Yeah, I don't think, I honestly couldn't tell if he was kidding or not. I don't think women tend to do that, at least not to their colleagues. Well, and, you know, Nick points out, too, in the chat, it's probably one-sided because it's only men in power who do it. Yeah, exactly. Melanie made an observation in the chat that I can't read on the air, but that's you're probably right when you say that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, yeah, but yeah, I just like I said, the poor judgment and lack of impulse control is just stunning. You know, Charles says in the chat room, I was kidding. LOL. Okay, just making sure, Charles. You know, because you know, Florida is a little different kind of place, if you know what I mean. You know, but yeah, Charles was, you know, the show that I was talking about earlier that my dad's going to be on tonight with Billy Painter and John Grosvenor. Charles was on there. I think it was last week or the week before, and they were talking about the whole Disney DeSantis thing. It's absolutely bizarre. I don't know what constituency DeSantis is going to win when he does begin to win over, when he does declare himself a presidential candidate. But there's a lot of people I think irrespective of political ideology, there's a lot of people in this country who really love Disney. And and Charles and his family, they love Disney. And I just, it's bizarre to watch. Nick says, I've only sent unsolicited pics to Rocky Huber. Scott Robinson says, Matt, sexual harassment goes both ways. Just look at the documentary, Horrible Bosses. Oh, yeah, no doubt. It does. But I think it tends to go much more one way than the other, because, men, and there's something, I don't want to get into all of it now this late in the show, but the psychology of it, I think men are, I'll just say this. I think men have far less self-discipline and impulse control, as some do, as evidenced by people like Eric Bolling, for example, than women do. Of course, women can, it certainly is possible for a woman to sexually harass a man if a woman is in a position of power, for example, and she has a male underling. But I just don't know if it happens. I don't think it probably happens that often, comparatively. Yeah. Well, if you'd like to get in with a call, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. I think, though, because it came up. Oh, hello to Margie Prime. That's a new name in the Facebook live chat. Hello there. Let's look at this quickly. So thehill.com has a story up about this. And like I said, I think a lot of people love Disney regardless of ideology. The Hill has this article, DeSantis versus Disney feud divides GOP over attacks on, quote, woke companies. So it says here, let's look at this. Because like I said, I just don't think there's an upside to what DeSantis is doing here. And by the way, it also looks very, as Chris Christie pointed out, Chris Christie, who's rumored to be potentially running for president, it's not very, Republicans are supposed to be pro-business, right? So why is DeSantis, just because, and this whole thing started over the Don't Say Gay bill. I know some people object to calling it that, but we speak of these bills in shorthand regardless. So, that's what it came to be called colloquially, so to speak. The Don't Say Gay bill. Disney spoke up against it. And so DeSantis said, oh, they're woke, and I must now attack them at every opportunity and try to run them into the ground. And it's like, Disney is an enormously popular company, and, God knows how many people go there every year, go to Disney in Florida, and Republicans, Democrats, and what have you, right? So this is a big risk, and it seems just inherently anti-business what DeSantis is doing. And Chris Christie pointed out, he's not really a conservative. I mean, yeah, obviously he's a conservative with all this culture war stuff, but he's not a pro-business conservative if he's using the power of his office and the power of government to constantly attack a company like this. Melanie, I can't read that comment on the air either, but I do agree with you. Absolutely. Mike from Queen City Cabinetry joins us in the Facebook live chat. Hello, Mike. Queen City Cabinetry in the historic Sunbeam Mall, one of our great sponsors here at WMNH 95.3. And Mike is one of our co-hosts on Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C on Friday nights. So it says here, Republican attacks on, quote, woke American corporations are exposing deep divides within the GOP, with some Republicans worried the party is straying from its roots by going after the internal politics of big businesses. Right. See, there's a conflict there ideologically. And I've cited, too, on the show, recently there was that Marist poll that showed that 55% of Republicans surveyed don't agree with all this anti-LGBTQ plus legislation, all the anti-trans stuff. They think it's the wrong path to be going down. Yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, obviously, there's probably millions of moderate suburban Republicans who are much more concerned with the price of groceries than they are, obsessing over trans people, right? Just practically speaking. But this is causing a bit of a divide. So it says here, the Republican at the center of the fight is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who has tested the limits of the party's appetite for government crackdowns on private industry with his war on Disney and Disney World. Prominent Republicans are denouncing DeSantis' efforts to punish Disney for speaking out against what critics dubbed Florida's Don't Say Gay law. Separately, a push by conservatives to boycott Bud Light over its marketing partnership with a transgender influencer has also sparked internal debates. Nick Murdoch says in the chat, conservatives have never been for small government. They just want government to be fascistic. Well, there's I think there's that element, but there are different kinds of, there's different kinds of conservatives. I think there are conservatives who are genuinely small government, but I also think that, in other words, I guess what I'm saying is I wouldn't paint conservatives with that broad a brush. I don't think conservatives, they don't all embrace fascism, certainly. But some do. Some clearly do. Absolutely. I mean, DeSantis is certainly coming across that way here. Let's see. It says here, this debate looms large over the 2024 race. DeSantis is drawing heat from his potential 2024 presidential opponents for escalating his months-long feud with Disney, one of Florida's largest employers and taxpayers. Former President Trump, who is leading DeSantis in the polls, said last week that DeSantis is, quote, being absolutely destroyed by Disney. Disney's next move will be the announcement that no more money will be invested in Florida because of the governor, unquote, Trump wrote on his social media platform, Truth Social, later speculating that Disney might leave the state entirely. By the way, and again, it's not often that I'll agree with Trump, but he's right there. Disney has outmaneuvered DeSantis thus far. And, when he says Disney's next move will be the announcement that no more money will be invested in Florida because of the governor, well, I mean, nobody at Disney is going to say that overtly, but implicitly. I don't think Disney is actually going to leave Florida. That's, it's not like, is it Disney World or Disneyland? It's Disney World, right? I get them mixed up. I can't keep track. It's not like they can just pack up and leave. It's not that easy. It would be a pretty tremendous operation. And it's not like DeSantis is going to be governor forever. But we'll see. Oh, Charles is calling back. Hi, Charles.
Oh, yeah. You're starting to go in depth about Disney again, so it's like I had to call back.
Yes.
By the way, I was joking. Listen, I fondly enjoy unsolicited female pictures, so
sure.
That's why I was joking.
Okay,
anyway,
good. I just
first off, no,
it is
Disney World, and secondly, they have way too much invested in it to ever leave.
Yeah,
it would actually cost them billions in revenue, and to go ahead and do another park and somewhere else just to replace it there's no way.
Oh yeah,
they got too much invested.
Yeah, no doubt.
One of the things that DeSantis, after Disney went ahead and pulled the rug underneath him, he went ahead and said, you know what, we're going to go ahead and apparently he lobbied a bill or something, or a resolution to where his cronies apparently can vote to basically overturn the judgment of the Disney owning the rights to the land, and then it's going to turn to a court battle. But he also stated on there that he's going to use the outland land for Disney to either build a park, a park that to compete against Disney, or put a prison.
I got the impression, though, and you're there, so you tell me what the impression is there. But I saw the clip of him saying that, like musing about building a prison next to Disney. I got the impression he was kidding. But do you think he was serious?
No, I think he's serious. I think he's a crazy goon. The crazy goon that he is.
Yeah.
With him doing everything like this. Oh yeah, I wouldn't put it past him.
Wow.
And it's right that everybody that's gone ahead against him on this whole Disney thing is right. How do you go ahead and punish your largest employer, your largest revenue maker, and this whole tax thing? Disney is the largest taxpayer in Florida.
Yep.
So how are you going to go ahead and punish them? Oh well, they're not the kingdom anymore, or they're not their government. They're paying you a buttload of money every year. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So I don't know where he's getting his facts. I think he's just really, hurt that, somebody actually called him out and said, well, we don't support this. And it's like, oh, really? Well, it's like, you just picked on my girlfriend, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'll show you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's very petty.
And is that the type of image you want in the White House? I mean, I think we kind of already saw something like that over there with Trump a little bit, but this is like 10 times worse. Now it's like it doesn't matter how big you are or how much influence you have, you're going to get attacked regardless.
Yeah. It's a level of pettiness that is beyond what we're used to seeing, even in politics.
And also, Matt, too, I know you're way more political than I ever am. Don't you think all this going on? Don't you think maybe it's a sign of the First Amendment being used against Disney? Like they can't use their First Amendment right to stand how they want to stand?
Oh, absolutely, Charles. Absolutely. And that's a great insight. Yeah. I mean, they took a position. It's not like they attacked DeSantis personally or something like he's taking it, but they took a position that they didn't agree with the bill. That's all. And that's all it took. That's all it took to set this off. Just incredible.
Yeah. But and believe me, like I mentioned on Billy's show, I'm not a fan of everything Disney's done. Like they went ahead, they've taken it too far to the point where it's no longer princess or prince. Now it's like guests. They're not using the gender identities anymore. So now it's like they're all going. Everybody's basic. So like everything you see it's no longer hi your Majesty. It's like the little cute phrases they use for kids. It's no longer that anymore. So it's really. They've really have become a little bit on the I guess the woke side, but also to the point of listen, that's their choice.
Yeah.
And am I happy with it? No, I'm not very happy with it, but that's the stance they have. I'm still going to pay them the thousands I pay them for an annual pass and go there and enjoy myself.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No. Well said. Yeah, but like you pointed out, I mean, Florida's tax base depends on Disney, and it's just crazy.
Their whole revenue stream depends on Central Florida overall, and that's not just Disney. That's Universal, SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, everything like that. I'm just going to say one thing. When you're a governor, you got married at the Grand Floridian Hotel in Disney, and you're over here attacking them. That shows really, really bad precedence right there. And honest to God, this is his last term. I will celebrate the day with lots of drinks that he's gone.
Well, very good. You won't be alone in that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, Charles.
Anyway, I thought I had to chime in with those 5 cents.
No, I'm glad you did. Thank you for the call, my friend.
You got it. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. That is Charles, of course, from the state of Florida. And yes, and Disney enthusiast. If you want to get in with a quick call, but it has to be quick, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. Yeah, Nick clarified too in the chat room. So Disney World is in Florida, Disneyland is in California. Yeah, I've always gotten them mixed up because I'm not a big. I don't go to amusement parks really. Let's see. Let's just take one more quick look at this article. Yeah, so Trump is attacking DeSantis, or Tiny D, one of his nicknames for him on this. And again, it's I agree with Trump's criticisms, as well as those of Chris Christie. It says here, other possible 2024 Republican contenders, including former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie and former VP Mike Pence, have accused DeSantis of betraying conservative principles of limited government intervention. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Using government as a weapon against business. No, they're right. They're absolutely right. Shannon is on the line. Hi, Shannon.
Hello.
Hello.
And hi to Jenny, too. I know she's in the chat room there.
Yes.
Did you say earlier, because my hearing's going so a little bit, did you say never Trumper suck puppet?
That is what Peter Navarro called Brian Kilmeade, because Brian Kilmeade at Fox News had the temerity to say, when approached by management, apparently, oh yeah, I'll sit in that slot tonight that was once occupied by Tucker Carlson. Sure, I'll do it. And apparently this is just too much for Peter Navarro, and he is furious.
I think I was in the middle of eating or drinking, and I almost spit it out when I heard that. It just sounded funny.
Yes. Well, it's no laughing matter, Shannon. Peter Navarro.
Well, no, but you know,
Peter Navarro is very angry. He's an angry little man.
Well, yesterday when you were talking about something, and I'm talking to the radio saying you could be a comedian.
Who, me?
You and Jenny, together, you guys could do a stick, whatever.
We're like Steve and Edie, and younger listeners have no idea what I'm talking about. Hell, if you're
I don't know who that is.
If you're even a day or two younger than I am, you probably don't know.
How old do you think I am? Who's Steve and Edie?
Steve, you don't know Steve? See, I'm even too young to know. I don't even know why I know Steve. What the hell's his last name? It's funny too. I can picture him. They're old. They're dead. They're anybody in the chat room now? Anyway, I don't know. Steve, just look up Steve and Edie. I don't know. Anyway, yes, they were very funny in their day. Apparently.
Did you hear who just passed away? Did you?
Harry Belafonte passed away at age 96.
Yeah. Okay. All right, well, you have a good night.
All right, Shannon, you too. Thank you for the call.
All righty, take care.
All right, you got it. Bye-bye. All right, and we do need to wrap up. We are out of time, my friends. Thank you all for joining me today. Don't forget, tomorrow on the show, we have the band Becoming Human. We'll be Skyping in from Dallas, Texas in the second hour. Look forward to talking with them. Thursday, we have our musical guest in studio during the second hour. Peter Pappas will be joining us. Really looking forward to that. And one last plug, tonight at 7 p.m., my father, Martin Connerton, he will be a guest on the Patriot Confederation. If you're in the Nashua area, you can listen on, I think it's WSMN if I have the call letters correctly, but probably the easiest thing to do, go on YouTube, go to Billy Painter's YouTube page, and the show will be streaming there beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern. And so apparently they're going to have my dad on via phone, I assume. I don't think he's set up for Skype or Zoom, so he'll probably be calling in, but that will be happening tonight at 7 p.m. Brooklyn. All right, we always have time for Brooklyn Mike. Got to grab this call. Hey, Brooklyn Mike.
Hi, Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet.
Steve Lawrence, yes, thank you. Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet. Yeah. Thank you.
They were a married couple. They were primarily a singing couple, duet. But, they had that comical rapport between the two of them.
Didn't they have a variety show, though, that they hosted?
I don't recall. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility, though.
Okay, gotcha. Steve,
okay, my friend. I'll let you go. Have a great night.
All right, thanks, Mike. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Yes, Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet. Yes, thank you, Brooklyn Mike, to the rescue. All right, very good. If you missed any part of today's show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org and at my website, mattconnerton.com. And I got to go. You know what? We'll leave you with another track from Peter Pappas. This is called You're in My Head. And he will be our guest on Thursday. And I really like his voice. I like his songwriting. Great stuff. Thank you to everybody in the chat room, too, by the way. Very busy chat room today, and I love it. Great to see you all in there, everyone who called. And that's going to do it for me for now. I will talk to y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody. Oh, wait a minute. I knew I was forgetting something. It is Tuesday, which means if you're listening live on Tuesday, immediately after this show, we have Through the Stage Door, hosted by Rob Dion. And then at 7 p.m. is the replay of Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C. And of course, I have the honor and privilege of being one of Paul's co-hosts on that show, along with DJ Steve. We had a great time Friday night, but if you missed it, the replay is tonight. And don't forget, be back bright and early, 7 a.m. for the morning show with Peter White. All right. Gotta go.